Yeah, absolutely, and yeah, this season's gonna be fun. It's like I said, it's a one-on-one matchup, so it's a pretty big matchup going forward. To be 2-1 and not 1-2.
Absolutely, we're going to start to see some of the really the cream of the crop rise to the top. I feel like I just quoted a song lyric. All right, we're off and running.
All right, so might as well. So if you're new to Randomizer, at this point, a lot of you probably have seen many Randomizers at this point, but this is standard mode. So we're going to start out just like the vanilla game. You go through the escape, but a little bit of difference is in vanilla, you get a sword from Uncle. Here, you can get a multitude of weapons. You can get fire rod, you can get bow, bombs even. So there's a bunch of different things that we could get.
So Zunker, what do you think Uncle's going to be holding today, which Akash will be showing in just a moment?
Hammer.
Oh, cane. It's cane, which is good. It's better for the runners. Bomb starts are pretty rough, but I've seen a lot of really fancy cane work with people getting the King Samaya this early.
Yeah, absolutely. One negative about getting the cane so early is it really doesn't give you a whole lot of progression. If you get like a hammer or something, you have more options for later on. But it is not a bad start weapon.
Another plus for the runners is they did pick up a 3-bomb drop early, so when they get to the sewers in the back of the escape, they'll be able to check that 3-item location, which many people, when they forget or they don't have the bombs to do it, can put it out of their head for quite some time, and they don't even have access to it till they have the gloves.
Yeah, absolutely. Unless they want to go through escape once more time, which is just super time consuming.
Ooh, Tadaru's got to be careful. He's losing a few hearts here on the beginning part of Hyrule Castle.
Yeah, that's the one negative about getting like a fire rod or the cane here is you have to really watch your magic usage, and you can't just kill things willy-nilly.
At least he'll pick up an additional heart if he picks up some of the pots below, and we'll see what Zelda sell and all those items in the back here of this top part of Escape. We'll hold for the 2 goals.
Absolutely, there's a ton of items here, so no worries too much. So this is randomizer, so all the weapons are randomized. They can be in vanilla locations, but it's kind of rare. But so randomizer's pretty fun, pretty unique, and every seed's different. So I can't wait to see what we get.
A little background on the tournament. There are 512 runners in this tournament. There were so many that they had to upgrade the challenge page so they could fit these multitude of new runners that are joining for the first time this year.
Yeah, absolutely, it's incredible how big this has gotten, and that is an insane amount of people.
Well, both runners look like they're going for pot strats as they take out the Zelda Cell Guard, and we're going to see what is inside. It is another 3-bomb drop. Again, another nice thing for them. They'll have bombs not only for the back of Escape, but also for Kakariko Village.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a bit of a relief, so you don't have to worry about getting rupees and buying bombs or hoping you just get a random one in Kakariko. Right now we are making our slow troll through the escape here. This is one a lot of people don't like standard for this reason because the escape can be kind of slow. I like it. I think it's fun, but I also understand why some don't.
I mean, the positive with this being the first thing that you're forced to do in the standard mode is that you don't have to route it in later, which could be a little bit more difficult in an open mode when it's a little bit out of the way as well. So it definitely has its pros and its cons, but it is a slow synced run all the way to the sanctuary.
Absolutely, and
So the nice thing about standard too is they do give you light cone for the escape, whereas open obviously will not give you that light cone. However, they will be losing the ability to light dark rooms as soon as they are done with the escape. And I've seen a lot of late lamps in this tournament. I don't know about you, Zonker, but and for people who are not super good at the dark rooms, that can be a little bit concerning.
Yeah, absolutely. It does feel like there's been a lot of late lamps. I mean, it's obviously random, just what happens, but late lamps it really makes the, like you said, if you don't know dark rooms, it could really, really hurt you.
So as these runners are continuing through the sewers, Zunker, what do you think the item that's going to hold out on these runners is today?
I'm feeling Mirror is going to be the item today. Mirror seems to be late a lot too here recently, but Mirror, I'm going to go with Mirror, yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough one to hold out on runners too, because that makes the Light World, Dark World navigation really clunky.
Yeah, it does. You like early Mirror because of that reason alone. Mirror and Flute, and Boots obviously, but Mirror and Flute together are a good combination.
And nothing terribly exciting in the back of Escape 3 items there. We've got a bomb upgrade, a 50 rupee, and a map. So 50 rupee will be nice to get some money to put into the First Bank of Zora savings account, so or to the bottle vendor.
Absolutely, that bottle vendor. Not as often of a scam, but a scam nonetheless.
Well, there goes your theory.
Well, yeah, that's what I was just about to say.
So the mirror very helpful not only for navigating between light and dark world, but also can teleport you back to the beginning of dungeons. And I know Pod, for example, is one that without the mirror can be really frustrating to navigate.
Oh yeah, Pod. And what's nice is if they're assuming they're both crystals, if they are, Pod and Eastern together is really, really nice.
So here's our first route divergence. Tadaru is going to go up and see what the tree pull pack is, and it looks like a full magic drop. And likely check the Lumberjack Cave, and Akash, Josh, is doing his own tree pull and going to grab the item straight away from the Lost Woods.
Yeah, this is not an overly big gamble by Josh, but if Lumberjack Cave has something, that's going to be good knowledge for the Tadaru. But it's just a bomb upgrade, so we won't be seeing that.
All right, well, Akash Josh is noping on that arrow. I believe that was an arrow. I don't know if that was a 5-drop or an upgrade, but noping nonetheless. And Tadaru is going to be going through the same path. Got to be careful again with his hearts, but same path that Akash has been going through. All right, well, Akash Josh is making his way to Kakariko Village. Item-dense locations. We have Blindside, we have the well, we have Bottle Vendor and the Chicken Hut Lady, and back of the tavern. And if we find a bottle, Sick Kid as well could have some progression.
Yeah, absolutely. This is always, in standard mode especially, this is pretty much always going to be your first location after Sanctuary, barring some sort of craziness if you get something for Eastern. And we got a sword! Early swords are nice. They can be, like we said, you don't get the Uncle Assured sword, so you could go a long time without your first sword.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen runs go an hour plus without a sword, and it really stretches the runner's ability to creatively use their other items as weapons throughout the game.
Yeah, absolutely. So at this point in the run, we're in the beginning. So we're looking for 3 big items to get in the Dark World at this point. We were looking for the Power Gloves, which is necessary, the Moon Pearl, which is also necessary, obviously, and either the Titan's Mitts or the Hammer to give us full access to Dark World. We can use either one, but we need both, but either one will work.
Well, at this point, Akash has the requisite 500 rupees that he needs to check Zora, so that we may be seeing, once he gets the Moon Pearl, a fake flipper over there. Well, and now he's down to 400 with the Bottle Vendor, so but at least a good chunk of change toward that goal.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that would be a play you'll definitely see if they end up getting the Moon Pearl at some point.
So far, Kakariko Village has been very, very lucrative for the runners in terms of a financial gain. But other than that, not a whole lot of anything else. They have their first sword, but that's about it so far.
We have a map check, and interestingly enough, we have the 1, 2, and 3 crystals.
And someone left their pair of shoes at the bar because Akash picked up the boots in the back of the tavern.
Early boots. Wow. We like early boots.
Unfortunately, they're not going to be used to get that big 20 off of the library ledge, but it is going to speed the run up considerably for both of these runners.
Just the heart at the race game. Josh has decided he didn't want it. Some runners might take it early on like this, but they do have 5 hearts at this point, so leaving it's probably not a big deal.
All right, well, Akash Josh is going to be making his way to the South Shore, which is pretty typical route for runners as they begin seed. We have, of course, the dam, which will have 2 items, and then we have the mini Moldorm cave, which will have 5 items, including Generous Sky. And we'll see where we go from there. And then the runners can check a couple of one-off, like Ice Broad Cave or Aguinus Cave, which has had a lot of progression items in the past. So we'll see where they route from here.
Yeah, absolutely. And real quick, I just want to point out, you saw Josh there bring out the mirror and make that block disappear in the 1.0 version of the Japanese copy, which is where this ROM is kind of taking place, if you will. In a non-dungeon, if you use the mirror on those movable blocks, it makes them completely disappear.
All right, well, Tadaru is opting to pick up that piece of heart, which I don't necessarily disagree with, especially as you still have Green Mal, and when you get into the Dark Worlds, that Green Mal can really put you in a precarious position with some of the enemies.
Ooh, Josh taking a death there in the mini Moldorm cave, that's a bit rough. Not an overly long walk back, but definitely hurts. Those mini Moldorms with Fighter Sword take 2 hits or 1 spin slash, but you can also use the Samaria strats if you really want to get, swaggy.
Of course, with only 2 bombs, Akash is not going to use bombs, and again taking another death. It's tough to take a death here, but it's not a huge time loss for a runner, as with the boots you can run back down and try again.
Yeah, absolutely. I would maybe at this point he uses Samaria, because that will take 2 hits on each one of those as well if you just kind of set the block at him.
We'll see if Akash Josh changes up his strategy here as he re-enters Mini Moldorm Cave. Going again for the sword and a little bit better RNG for him at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. He will definitely get some rough RNG there, and sometimes these mini Moldorms they can be a bit brutal.
Alright, he gets the mini Moldorms down, and we're about to see what is in the mini Moldorm cave. We have flippers and lamp, just a single rupee. We also have a bomb upgrade and a moon pearl. So I would say this is the V2.0 hype cave.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting flippers, getting the lamp, and the moon pearl there. That is also kind of suggesting that Zora play. So we'll be curious to see where the runners decide to go after this. Getting the moon pearl is big too, but we still need to get the hammer, or we need power goals in either the Titan's Mitts or the hammer.
I will say, getting an early lamp sometimes could be the beginning of the starter pack for Aghanim, and we can't count him out yet. So we'll see what the run continues to lead these runners to. And as I say that, here comes the Master Sword, which is the another item in the Aghanim starter pack.
Yeah, the runners probably don't like to see that because of that reason. You could also get Cape too. You don't necessarily need Master Sword. Cape could work for Aga to get into Aga's tower, but right now we got a lot of places to check, so. Josh showing us a little bit of the glitch there with the boots there and walking on water.
Both runners look like they're taking care of Lake Hylia and beyond Zora. Well, not quite yet because they don't have the rupees for it yet, but got 50 and a 10 arrow drop in the Waterfall of Wishing for Akash.
Yeah, Akash did skip a hobo there. A little bit surprised by that one, but you know that's just something that's right there. You know, with ooh. I thought Josh was gonna save quit. I was gonna like, no, you have enough money now.
Yeah, that would have been tough, but I mean it's a reflex. Sometimes you see something on there that isn't a progression item per se, and you just reflexively will just save quit.
Right, understandable.
Well, Hobo holding just a piece of heart for Tadaru, so Akash not missing out on a whole lot, but again, missing out on an item doesn't mean that it's not sticking in your head that you have yet to check it.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be one of those things where we get later to the run and we're one item away, and you're like, oh, is it in this area? That's going to be the issue we might have later on. But...
Well, after these last checks in Lake Hylia and Zora's domain, all these runners have left is Zagina's Cave, which again, can't count out that it will have a progression, or won't have a progression item, but after that, I believe we have to go ahead and bite the bullet and Aghanim.
They haven't went to Eastern yet, so they got all that stuff. And we get the power gloves right away, so now we're only a second glove upgrade or the hammer away, so that's huge.
Of course, with the boots, Kosh looks like saving and quitting to Sanctuary because I think he's probably going to check those bonk rocks as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You could also check King's Tomb if you want it to, I believe. No. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think without the mitts, you can't check King's Tomb yet, but getting closer to it. Just a 3 bomb drop in the bonk rock. So now Akash Josh has got a couple of options. He could go to Eastern. He could sequence break, or not sequence break, because he has a lamp. He can go up to Death Mountain and take care of Hera. It looks like that's what he's doing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That is. I kind of forgot about the lamp, so Death Mountain is a play here. Not a lot. You got Spectacle Rock, but Tower Hera being the crystals, that's not a bad play.
And the lamp has happened so late in so many seeds that I played that I too had forgotten that the lamp was even acquired at this point.
Absolutely, and that is where he's going, by the way. So it ended up working out for him because then you could just check Lumberjack real quick, which he didn't do before. And yes, you're right. That loss that I did, it is required us we get Dark World access.
All right. Well, on West Death Mountain, Akash will have 2 chests or 2 items rather to find. One's on Spectacle Rock, and of course you have the Old Man, which makes it 3. He also has the Spectacle Rock Cave, so we'll see what he finds there, and then he could go northbound right to Tower of Hera, and with that lamp can complete it.
I believe he got the Sanctuary Heart there. He got a full health refill. I think he was more than 1 heart off, so that was... the Sanctuary Heart, if you don't know, fills up your health completely. In the vanilla game, it is the only heart to do that. And here in the randos, if you beat a boss, you automatically get your health upgrade and magic... not health upgrade. Health refill and magic refill.
Didn't quite see was in Spectacle Rock Cave, but something that Akash Josh did not want, so he noped right on out of there and is opting to go right into the Dark World, likely going for Tower of Hera next.
Yeah, I missed it too, but it definitely didn't seem like anything worth picking up.
All right, well, Tower of Hera has 2 unique items for our runners. And I think Akash was just making sure that it was indeed a crystal before he dipped in. At least that's what I'm assuming by that map check.
Yeah, most likely. And you like seeing this is, although you don't have the 5-6 crystals here, you can't ask for much better than having all 3 of the Light World dungeons be crystals.
All right. Well, Akash has the big key, so he can make his way up to our favorite boss, Moldorm. And Tadaru will be joining him momentarily as he's making his way into the Dark World.
Yep, absolutely. These runners are on a very similar pace, or a similar, similar pace too, but a similar line, I should say. No one's checking Eastern yet, so we have to keep that in mind too. I don't blame him for going up here, though. This is probably the right play at this point.
Yeah, some people's logic is when you can get a dungeon completed and do so without a huge time loss or going out of your way, then doing it is a good idea.
Ooh, we got blue mail. That's going to be nice to have. Not progression, but always nice to have the extra defense. And Josh also got the nice bomb jump there to get to that big chest. If you fail that, you fall, I believe, 2 floors.
Yeah, it's not a forgiving bomb jump, and Akash did pick up those 2 unique items, so he's going to go over to Moldorm. And the nice thing is he will not have to do the basement with those 2 unique items acquired.
It's always a relief having those done.
Well, 3 spins and Moldorm is down, and Akash has his first crystal.
And so I would imagine that Eastern might be his next play.
Eastern or Agina at this point is about the only plays he has left. One thing I want to touch on real quick while Tadaru's here in Tower Hera. You notice we didn't get the small key to go to the basement. In Randomizer, the logic can have, as long as it's not required, like a small key in basement, because, you don't need it.
All right. Well, Akash is heading toward Eastern, where there are 3 unique items plus Sahasrala's walk-in closet, which he's sealed off and will be unsealed, and it also will give you some intel on the green pendant.
Yeah, if you choose to talk to him, it'll give that green pendant information. Ooh, hook shot in Sarasrala's hut. That's good, but that probably frustrates a little bit because then Eastern Death Mountain would have been in play if you came here first.
Yeah, that's. It's a good find. It's a tough find because you're gonna have to head back up that way, and you have a bunch of items on Eastern Death Mountain that could lead away from an Aghanim required seed.
We are here in Eastern, which is a crystal, but is not full clearable until we get the bow. But we are guaranteed at least 2 non-dungeon items. We might get all 3 if we're lucky.
And there is no need to navigate any dark rooms, though they are some of the easier dark rooms in the game if you are comfortable in doing such a thing. And with the hook shot, Akash can avoid having to go around and pick up that what turned out to be the big key.
Yeah, it's not the biggest of time saves, but it's nice to have. Nice to be able to avoid that extra room.
Now, I missed it, but did either of the runners talk to Sahasrala about the green pendant?
I don't believe so. So we won't know until we get in the Dark World, which isn't a big deal because, we can just map check once we get there and we'll know from there. If you're playing like Key Sandy, which you have to get the map to see if it's a crystal or a to figure out if it's crystal or pendant, then that would be a big deal.
Well, it looks like Tadaru is opting to actually go back up to Death Mountain to check those locations on east side, which I think is a good play on his part.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not a bad play at all. Well, we got the red meringue.
Right, well, Akash has hit the end of what he can take care of in terms of Eastern, so likely he'll be going up to Death Mountain as well to take care of those Eastern chests.
This is a money-heavy seed.
Oh, and there's yet another harbinger of Aghanim. We have the cape that just came out of one of those chests, so thinking as much as we're hoping it doesn't happen, or maybe we are, I don't know, maybe we have a sixth sense of humor. It might be happening soon.
I never wish Ag on my worst enemy, so I'm definitely not rooting for it here. But it is, like you said, it is looking more and more likely at this point. We do got Spiral Cave. We do got Agina's cave over in Desert, which is kind of a one-off at this point, but it's going to be worth the check.
All right, well, just a piece of heart in the floating island, so I don't think any of those runners, either of our runners, is going to head back for that one. And Tadaru is taking care of the Spiral Cave. Hopefully something good for him there. Of course, a Spiral Cave a lot more palatable when you have boots. Doing the long walk of shame without is sometimes a rough go, and only picking up a 5-bomb upgrade, so looks like we are getting closer and closer to that Aghanim required seed.
Yep, only got one more place to check, I do believe. Josh trying to throw some hover strats at us there, just missed, but that was fun to see.
All right, well, it looks like Tadaru is taking care of Agina's cave. He's
sprinting his way there now, and then likely will be saving and quitting and heading back over to Aghanim, biting that the Aghanim bullet.
Yep, absolutely. But Agina's cave here, you know, often you always leave for last and then ends up having something. He's going to check the ledge first. We can't get it, but it is worth a check. Just some more boom booms.
Chat pointing out which ag is going to help us out. Is it going to be Agina or Aghanim? So we'll see what happens here.
The moment of truth has upon us. Oh, just some red goo. So that means Aga 1 is required. That's a bit disappointing for him, I'm sure, but...
Well, unless Sick Kid has something. If Sick Kid has something, which I don't think they've checked yet, it could hold the key to what we need.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That is true. Sick Kid is available now. That would be hilarious. Akash going to check his hobo check that he did not do earlier. And I believe Tadaru did Tadaru skip Eastern completely, right?
He did. He went to Sastralez and then went right up to Death Mountain. All right, Aghanim it is. As much as we kept trying to hope that it wouldn't happen, it is now. It's happening.
As much as this seed was trying to give us all the fetch quests, it is time for the Aga fight.
Well, it looks like Tadaru is actually going to Eastern. He's still got that the 3-item hope there that it's not going to be Aghanim, but Kosh is going to be getting his bottle, going to Sick Kid, and then I would imagine they're going to be entering Aghanim's tower, the castle tower, in a pretty similar pace.
Yeah, absolutely. They're just at this point they're just making their final checks each, and you know you don't blame them because Aga 1 is such a time sink, but on that same time, you know, it's going to be it is what it is. And for the record, if you don't know, the Aghanim's Tower is required in vanilla. That's how you get the Dark World to get your Moon Pearl. But And Rando, obviously, we like to avoid it at all costs, just like pendants. We don't like getting pendants if we don't have to.
So the good fact for both these runners, as they do end up heading to Aghanim, is that they do have the requisite number of rupees required to enter Palace of Darkness if they so chose to do it, which I believe is 115 rupees for the scamming monkey that opens up Kiki, opens up the dungeon for them.
Absolutely, and if they want to get, they can also get to, once they get into Dark World, they can still get to Outcast Village. They just kind of have to take the long way around.
That is true. They do have those gloves and they do have that hook shot, so they don't necessarily have. They're not kind of pigeonholed into looking for something of progression in pod either.
No, absolutely not. But it is something that sometimes people forget about because you so rarely go the back way to pod with the hook shot over the river. That, you know, I wouldn't be surprised to see at least one of these runners go in the pod, which could be the right play. We don't know yet, obviously.
All right, well, Oshkosh Bagashikosh is heading his way into Castle Tower to take on Aghanim, and Tadaru is going to be learning the unfortunate truth that he too is going to have to head in that direction.
Yeah, absolutely. And there is 2 chests here in Agus Tower, but they both hold small keys for the dungeon, so we don't get anything worth of value here. It's just a big, long dungeon.
All right, Tadaru trying for, I believe, some of those NMG strats to get to that center console switch for the big key chest. Unfortunately, took a bit of damage, but saved and quit because that's the last thing he needed. And he too will be heading up Castle Tower now.
All right, so once we get to Agana, he can throw at us either some energy orbs or blue balls. Obviously, we want the energy balls so we can knock it back at him, and we need, what, 6 to knock back at him to defeat him? The first one of each cycle is always the energy ball, I do believe, and I think the 5th one is always like the lightning strike.
I'm gonna go with your word on that one. I never actually really counted or checked, but that sounds about right to me.
I'm like 92% sure. I may be wrong, but yes. Go ahead and get those blue ball counts in chat. How many blue balls do you think Agana is gonna throw at our guys here? I'm gonna go with 2 myself.
I'm gonna be nice and say 1, only because there was a ton of blue balls in my match today, and it was really frustrating.
Yeah, absolutely. There is a maximum that you can get, and I can't remember that number, but assuming you hit all the balls backhand that you do get, there is a certain maximum, but at this point, that number fails me at the moment.
All right, well, we got someone who said 99. That's just cruel. But we got a lot of 5s. We got a 3, a 6. So we'll see who wins the blue ball guessing game, which is not sanctioned by Speed Gaming.
No, but it's fun to do. Fun to do nonetheless. Words are hard.
Words indeed are hard. But if you do win the blue ball guessing game, you get the feeling of frustration that our runners get when they get blue balls from Aghanim.
Sounds like a heck of a prize to me. Oh. That's 1! There's 2! Come on, Aga. What are you doing now? Alright, we got 2 hits on Aga now. Here is a lightning strike. This is always going to happen on the 5th try. You want to get out of the way of that because it hurts like heck. interestingly enough, that lightning attack is only in Aga 1. When you fight him again in GT, you do not see it a second time. He does not do it at all.
So it looks like a lot of energy balls and very few blue balls are coming Akash's way, which is good. And he takes Aghanim down. So we'll see what is on the pyramid very shortly.
Yeah, absolutely. After the first 2 blue balls, he didn't get another one. So, and for the record, both runners will get the same amount of blue balls. The way they have these set up, like the blue balls, Ganon warps, and stuff like that, are always the same unless you die or miss or something. Okay, we got an interesting map here. Pod is actually the green pendant. T-Rock's a pendant, and Skullwoods is also a pendant. Mire and Swamp Palace are the red crystals. So now we got an interesting decision. Knowing Pod's a pendant, I probably personally would stay away, but it'd be tempting also to go in there. It looks like he might be staying away.
Yeah, it's a tough call without either the hammer or the bow. To go into a pendant pod is a risky move. So he looks like he's heading to Western Dark Hyrule, probably to Thieves Town and that area.
I was gonna say, and I don't think he quite. Oh, there he goes. I was gonna say, with this northern route that they have to take to get over here, they can route the Graveyard Ledge and the King's Tomb real easily here.
Yeah, that's good routing on Akash's part. So to get those 2 locations out of the way that you can miss later on was a good idea.
Absolutely. Chad did point out he did decide to skip Catfish, but yeah, it's kind of out of the way, and you know, you can always go back after you go to Pod the next time if you need to.
Ooh, be in the bottle. That is the best weapon in the game. So Akash gets the best weapon in the game.
Absolutely. Tadaru finishing up his Aga fight here, going to the Dark World. We'll see where he decides to go. Um, 300 more rupees in King's Tomb because we like money in the seed. Yes, the way the pendants are shaping up, Fire Rod is potentially not required, so that could be kind of interesting.
Akash is doing a bumper cave check, which is good. This is just really efficient routing on his part as he makes his way to the Village of Outcasts.
Yeah, absolutely. These northern routes can be tricky to route in later. That's about the only, I don't want to say only, that is a decent benefit of having to do Aga on this side without like a hammer or something. You can do that northern. Not that you want to do Aga, because you never do, but...
Alright, well, Akash is taking care of Skullwoods. There are 2 unique items here. He may not see them in the front half without the Fire Rod, but it's always worth a check. In previous versions, I know Skullwoods was a very popular first check location in the Dark World because it usually held something of progression. So we'll see what it holds here.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a pretty quick check overall. Well, we get Bombos. That's one of the 3 medallions that one of the 3 are required. We just don't know which one yet, but getting one is good, and getting the Bombos is even better.
Not only does having Bombos give you a 33.333% chance that you are going to be able to open up a medallion dungeon, but it also helps in the Ice Palace as well.
Yes, absolutely. It's not quite as efficient throughout the dungeon, but it's nice to have for the boss.
Alright, Akash doing another bomb jump here to get to the big chest in Skullwoods. Successful, a little bit easier and time save with that. He has boots. He had 2 options, boots, and he had hook shot, and he's on his way out to the next room, perhaps, or not. I guess he's just going to make a liar of me is what he's going to do.
Exactly. I think he found both items, the Bombos and the bombs there, so we don't need to go any further until we get the Fire Rod. if they want to, if it's pet. Otherwise, there's no reason ever to come back to Skull Woods. For the record on that chess game, no matter what two chests you pick, they'll always be the same. I think in vanilla game, the chests are just different, but in Rando, no matter what two you check, they'll be what items are supposed to be there.
So far, nothing super exciting in the Village of Outcast for Akash. He looks like he's into his last Overworld's Village of Outcast check, and then I would imagine he's going to dip into Thieves Town, despite not having the hammer for that last chest. There are 4... Oh, and I take that back. He now has that hammer, so Thieves Town is the right move, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no reason not to do Thieves Town at this point. You have the hammer. It's a crystal. Just go in and get it done. While Tadaru is over here in the Skull Woods still, you may have noticed that the music's a little different than when we were in Tower of Hera. If you don't know, you can, in Vanilla or in Randomizer, you can actually tell what dungeon is a crystal and what dungeon is pendant just based off the music. Unless you do Kisandi, then it's different. But in Standard and Open, you can just tell by the music. The music is different between the two.
Absolutely. So that's a good double check just in case you mismark something in your tracker and you put something as a crystal when it's a pendant or vice versa. And Akash is continuing his progression on here in Thieves Town, where there are 4 unique items. He did get half magic, which is a really nice safety to have, especially with that cape, especially at the end when you're fighting Ganon.
Yeah, absolutely. Not a progression item, but a nice item to have nonetheless. So I have to say the seeds started to get a bit more generous here. We got the hammer, so that's always nice to have. We still need... Well, we don't actually need Fire Rod or Ice Rod, for that matter, potentially. And we need Bow, for sure. And Flute.
All right, well, Akash is entering the aptly named Hellway, where he is going to exit and go up. He's going to start to ascend the Thieves Town here to bomb the floor, which will then, of course, set up for the Lion's wonderful entrance at the end of this dungeon.
Yeah, absolutely. I had something on my mind and I just blanked. Sorry. Tadaru getting his half magic here. So again, both these runners are pretty much in line with each other. Akash is a little bit ahead in the routing. I won't say ahead in the run because you never know what's going to happen. It's been an interesting seat so far. So we already got Aga. We're about to get into the blind fight in a little while. By the way, I should mention the hammer, even though it has a short range, it actually does tempered sword damage, so it is a nice offensive weapon to have.
Absolutely. Using that hammer when you have Master Sword is what I see a lot of runners do, especially for enemies that are a little bit more resistant to the Master Sword damage. And so that was... it's always a nice little backup to have as, you know, when you have that Master Sword. So it looks like Akash now is going to go to that big chest with the hammer and pick up another item, hopefully, and we'll see him head to the blind fight shortly thereafter.
Nope, just a big 20. So in terms of items, other than the half magic, nothing really too much of worth here. But again, this is a crystal, so we'll have our second crystal down about 46, 47 minutes in once we get done with the fight.
And I believe if I'm correct, I think there's one item outstanding, so it looks like Blind will be holding that last item if I was doing my maths correctly.
I think you're right. I think I did mine wrong. For the record, this blind fight, if you know how to do it, it's actually scripted, even though it looks RNG. But one other thing you want to know about this fight is no matter what sword you have, it does the same amount of damage. So whether you have Fire Sword or Butter Sword, it doesn't matter for this fight only.
I did not do my maths right. There was no item, but Akash did take down Blind very cleanly. I think only getting hit once in the entire match, so nice job to Akash.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a very nice fight, and Tadaru is going to be not too far behind here with his blind fight coming up.
Alright, well, Akash is going to be going south. Unfortunately, without the Titan's Mitts, he won't be able to pick up the Jeremiah, but he will be able to do the dig game. With the mirror, he'll be able to do Cave 45, check out Stumpy, to Hype Cave and see what is there. So he's got quite a bit of good checking ahead of him.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now he's doing the dig game, and we get Ether, so we are now at 2 of the 3 medallions. So we have obviously a 2/3 shot of having Meyer access for the medallion-wise. We still need a flute, though, and Titan's Mitts. I was going to say in the digging game, it can be the item that you want can be in anywhere from the first dig all the way up to 30, I believe.
Yes, and it is very unfortunate when you have to do a lot of digs and hit the latter end of that range. But gosh, it was pretty quick for him. And Cave 45, nothing of super importance there. So we'll see Stumpy, Hype Cave, and we'll move on from there.
Yeah, absolutely. There's Tempered, so that's nice to have.
Of course, having Tempered Sword is a really nice option when you have yet to find silvers, because Silverless Master Sword Ganon is a real pain in the butt. So having the Tempered Sword is a nice option for the runners if they do choose to do Silverless, or not choose. They're forced to.
Alright, so thinking about options here, what options do we have right now? I know one option that I'm guessing neither one of these runners really want, depending on what they get here in Hype Cave. Oh! Well, Hype Cave with the Titan's Mitts, that opens up a few more locations.
Swamp Palace is a crystal, and Akash did have that mirror. He could have routed that in there, but deciding not to. It is a lot quicker if you can go mode it, but it does have 6 items as well, so I don't disagree with his move, and we'll see where he goes from here.
No, it's not a bad move. The only I was a little surprised that he didn't go finish up the southern part of Outcast Village, get Jeremiah and stuff, especially when you have the mirror. It makes it a lot easier, but you know, you have a lot of different options here, and you know, you can always come back to it. It's pretty quick to get back to.
Well, now with the mitts and the hook shot, he has a lot of options for the Dark World Death Mountain, which is going to be really nice. You have Hookshot Cave, you have East Side Death Mountain in the Dark World, and you can do a check on what T-Rock medallion you need, despite the fact that it is a pendant, which, you know, when T-Rock's a pendant, I always feel like there's something in there.
That is how it seems a lot here recently, but right now, you wouldn't necessarily go in there. You could go in there. You ain't going to get very far, potentially, but you could go in there.
All right, well, we got a 2-item pickup here for Akash, so hopefully it'll be something good for him. If not, I'm sure he's going to go right on to Hookshot Cave. And we do have a flute and a powder, so both powder, a fetch quest item for the Bat Cave, but also a nice safety, and the flute, which is a really nice item to have.
Yeah, and the flute is required because Meyer is a crystal, and that also opens Meyer completely now, if I am not mistaken. Yeah. So Meyer is full clearable. Right now we got Meyer full clearable, Swamp full clearable, Desert's full clearable. If I'm not mistaken, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, let me double check real quick. Barring what Misery Mire is, that's the one thing we don't know is what Misery Mire is. We might only be a bowl away from Go mode.
Ooh, bow mode is a tough mode to be in. So hopefully they find this bow and it doesn't troll them. But it cannot be on the pedestal because Pod is a pendant dungeon. So that is at least one positive.
Yeah, absolutely. As Chat said, the only thing that could be on pedestal that would mean something is the Quake Medallion, and that might not even be necessarily. Getting the red mail in Hookshot Cave is always nice too.
Did notice that Akash decided not to do Spike Cave. Some people will prefer to route that in when they're up there. He does have the hammer, he does have the cape, and he does have red mail. So it was interesting he didn't route that in, but I also have seen people not route that at the given time.
Yeah, absolutely. Judging by the way Josh has played so far, he's not afraid to let the weird locations go a bit. You let Catfish go, you let Hobo go for a while. And if it don't have anything, that could definitely be a good time saver.
Yeah, those one-off locations. If obviously, if luck is in your favor, can really be good to skip. But if it is not, it could be really frustrating to have to go back and check them.
Well, we do have our first real route divergence so far. Tadaru deciding, you know what, I'm just going to make the swamp play now. Can't blame him. It is full clearable. Obviously, go-moving, like you said, is quicker. And Akash is going to do... He activated the flute. He's going to do Magic Bat.
Ooh, another fetch quest item. He's got the shovel, so I imagine Akash might. He has the flute, so he can get there a lot more quickly. So he may do that fetch quest as well.
Yeah, he's pretty much already here anyway, so no harm, no foul here. A lot of fetch quests so far in the seed, it seems like.
All right, well, Akash looks like he's opting to take a look at Misery Mire. Got Mire Shed, you have Checkerboard Cave, and if the medallion is right, he may enter as well.
It is Quake, which, by the way, is in Swamp Palace. Tadaru just picked it up, so this is interesting. So Tadaru will be able to route Mire and Desert in right with each other, where Josh is gonna have to do Desert alone, or if he decides to go to Swamp here, which he probably would just do Desert since that's completable at this point.
Looks like nothing of value in Checkerboard Cave, so Akash will likely be... It looks like he may be go ahead and taking care of Desert Palace while he is here, and has his fire source, has a mirror, has the boot, so he can full clear this dungeon.
Yeah, absolutely. Might as well at this point. This is where the route divergence sometimes gets really fun because obviously with Tadaru going to the Swamp Palace and getting that Quake, being able to route those two in together. Ooh! Akash with the Butter Sword. So we got Red Mail Butter Sword. This seed is going to be a breeze from that respect.
Oh, absolutely. So at this point, minus the bow, we're very close to go mode, and I can't imagine these runners are going to poke around for silvers with the upgraded weaponry that they have.
Tadaru making quick work of Argus there. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, as they say. And getting his third crystal of the match. I can't remember if he did left side or not, though.
Yeah, that was a question I was just about to ask you. If anyone in chat caught that, if you let us know if he did left side.
Alright, so he definitely did not do left side, but... So he's going to go back and do that real quick. What's kind of interesting about this is, on Tadaru's side, he still needs to get the flute, which was in the Super Bunny Cave, as well. So that will be something to keep in mind as we go forward with his routing.
Well, Landmolus being a bit of a rough customer here for Akash on the left side as Tadaru continues his way into Swamp, although he takes care of him with a couple more Butter Sword slashes and spins and gets his third crystal of the match.
That's so we got 3 crystals. Each of them has a different crystal. Has 2 of the same and 1 different. I think at this point, this race it feels really close. It is really close. And it's going to come down to execution, most likely. And I think for Tadaru as well, it's going to come down to when he goes to Super Bunny Cave to get his flute.
Right, and Akash is going to be taking care of this shovel fetch quest, and then I would imagine he's going to probably need to go over to Swamp so he can get his medallion to open up Mire.
That would be a logical play. He may also decide to do the Smith sequence as well, because I don't think he's done the Smithy sequence. Oh, he's going to go do Ice Palace.
Necessarily a bad play. We have 3 items in Ice Palace. It's one of those dungeons that you can get it done and kind of tucked away. It's nice to just get done and tucked away. No one loves Ice Palace, so we'll see. Hopefully something plays out for him here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, any crystal dungeon play as you get later into a seed is a good play, really. Especially if it's full clearable and you can get the crystal. The problem that Josh may run into here, though, is if he gets into a thought process where he would just rather go mode Swamp, we know he can't go mode Swamp. Although I think Quake was fairly early in Swamp, but he won't be able to completely go mode it. So he might end up getting himself on a little bit of a situation of looking for stuff.
Looks like both the runners are going to be tackling Ice Palace at the same time as Akash picks up his Riot Shield, his Mirror Shield, and that will be... That's not necessarily a great sign. That may be a sign that the seed is saying Laser Bridge eventually.
That is possible. We'll make Laser Bridge a lot easier. We are a fair ways away from that, though, but it is probably in their minds. It's interesting this seed has given us now the Butter Sword, Red Mail, and the Riot Shield, and we're not even an hour in. For Tadaru, that shield was just the fire shield.
Alright, well, Akash is setting up the bomb jump. Looks like he's going to execute it without any problem. And he also does have the King of Samaria, which will help if he wants to activate the switch that opens up the door that leads to Gold Stair.
The nice thing is because both runners have that half magic, the bombos that they are using to take care of some of these freezors and eventually Cold Stare will not cause them a huge magic loss either. Alright, well with that key, Akash is going to go to the right in Ice Palace, and he's got 3 items potentially here. And we'll see what he picks up, and then likely he'll be heading straight for Cold Stare.
Looks like Tadaru is having a little bit of trouble with that bomb jump the Ice Palace bomb jump there. That's all right. He does have the Cane of Samaya, which can possibly take care of anything that the bomb jump could lead to. Not having to you can route differently, so you can take care of the entranceway with the switch.
Yeah, absolutely. That bomb jump, some players make it look super easy, but it is pretty finicky from time to time.
All right, well, Akash is heading into the Cold Stare fight. He does have himself a fancy new bug net for some Swaggin' strats later, and we'll see how he fares with Cold Stare, but with that Butter Sword and half magic and bombos, I see this being no problem for him.
Nah, it shouldn't be too much of an issue. The interesting part with the bombos is bombos in one hit can take off the ice fortress, if you will. But it cannot actually damage Cold Stare, unlike the Fire Rod, which can do both. You can't get a better Cold Stare fight than that. That was pretty nice.
Yeah, that was a really clean Cold Stare fight from Akash, and he's going to get his 4th crystal of the match. I'd imagine after this, we are going to go head to Swamp Palace. He is starting to run low on some of those dungeon options.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't want to say it's the only play, because I'm sure there's other plays, but it's the most logical, not even logical, it's the most dense, item-dense heavy play at this point. And that does appear to be his play.
Well, of course, we do know that Ether is there, and that's going to be required in order to open up Mystery Mire.
Yeah, Tadaru will have a slightly harder fight with Cold Stare. Not having Butter and Red Mail, but it still shouldn't be too bad. You just don't want to get too many Cold Stare hugs.
Tadaru trying one of the other bomb jumps here in Ice Palace, and that is successful.
You know, I got this weird feeling in my gut that we're gonna have Bow and Pod.
You know, it wouldn't be super surprising, but the seed giveth, the seed taketh away. So I can see that happening.
Yeah, absolutely. Because at this point, once we get out of Swamp and Tadaru gets out of Ice Palace, Tadaru still needs to get his flute. We can't forget that.
Right. Without that flute, we we're going to also run low on options on Tadaru's side.
And for those who don't remember, Flute was in Super Blind Cave on Dark Death Mountain, east side. So that will be pretty important for him at this point. That'll make his routing of Mire and Desert a lot easier. Routing them together, that is.
All right, well, Tadaru's going into his Cold Stare fight. He has one weapon upgrade lower than Akash was, but so far his execution has been very good, and I'd imagine that he's going to make quick work of Cold Stare here.
Yeah, absolutely. It shouldn't be too much of an issue. Akash getting his Quake medallion, so he is now officially just a bow away from the go mode.
Ooh, Cold Stare got a little bit away from Tadaru, but looks like he's wrapping him up regardless.
Yep. Yep, just a little bit longer, but nothing too major. Alright, so Tadaru at this point, I would imagine we'll see him go up the Eastern Death Mountain and go into the dark side and get what he needs, and then we're in kind of an interesting spot. He'll probably go to Mire at that point.
Yeah, I'd imagine Mire is the next play here for Tadaru.
I should hit on this real quick because we've seen both runners do it now. If you save your quit when you're in Dark World and you have the mirror, it will start you on top of the pyramid. So you have to kind of keep that in mind. If you don't have the mirror, it'll let you do the choose between the, where you want to start. But otherwise, it will actually put you at the top of the pyramid if you have the mirror and you're in Dark World.
All right, Akash heading up to the boss fight here, and with the butter sword, it's going to be a very quick fight for him.
Thank you, chat, for correcting me on there. You do have to be Agawon as well, because that opens up a portal underneath the overhead when you go to the tower.
All right, well, Tadaru's picking up his powder and picking up his flute.
Yeah, and after this fight with Argus here, Josh will end up having a 5-4 crystal lead, but it's still pretty close because, again, not having that bow for Eastern is going to be interesting, and it's going to be kind of come down to who can find it first. Alright, Tadaru making the Spike Cave check. Remember, Akash did not check this, so this could be rather interesting. Akash making the Mire play, so this would be interesting. If the bow's here, that would be huge. Obviously.
All right, just a piece of love in the Spike Cave.
So nothing missing out there for Akash. And Akash is going into Meyer. So we do have 2 unique items here for Akash. And so we'll see if that plays out for him. It is also one of the 5/6 crystals, so that could also something could be in Pyramid Fairy.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Meyer was the other Pyramid Fairy crystal, right? Or am I wrong?
Yes, it was Meyer and Swamp.
That's right. I think you may have just said it, I just missed it. So yeah, I do that from time to time. Alright, so Tadaru's gonna be getting his flute here activated, and he will probably be making the Meyer play as well. And doing the Meyer checks that he hasn't done yet, which is the Meyer Shed and Checkerboard, which I believe Akash has done. Alright, the goose is loose. And that's exactly the play he's going to be making. He's going to be making that Meyer play. This is the right play. Probably. This was a good play, because he'll be able to route Meyer and Desert in together. Akash has already done Desert, so he'd be a little bit ahead in that respect, but at this point, they both still need a bow, and we don't know where that's at. Yeah,
and Desert Palace isn't a huge time suck in order to complete, so these runners are very close together, and certainly anything can still happen in the run, especially when we get to Ganon's Tower. There's also the fact that the runners may diverge left and right.
Tadaru seeing the Checkerboard Cave has not a whole lot of anything.
Of course, without the Fire Rod, Akash can't take advantage of a glitch here in Misery Mire, where you can actually Fire Rod through the blocks as you're pushing them. But he does activate the world's longest cutscene in order to get to the Vanilla Big Key chest.
So Akash still has some items to check here as Tadaru is making his way into Misery Mire. While we got a quick second as we're searching here still, I just want to say, make sure you guys give these runners a follow. They've been give us a fun, great race. Make sure you give them that follow we love so much, and it's been fun.
Yeah, it's always very stressful for runners to have a restream for their races. They do have an audience and everything being on display, and they're doing a great job and putting on a fantastic show for you. So thank you to our 2 runners.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to give a quick shout out to Megawatt, our tracker, who's doing a great job. Well, the last item we need for upgrade is the silver arrows, and we just got them. So we have, we won't die anytime soon. Is basically what I'm trying to say.
Well, unfortunately, without that bow, they're going to have to hand toss those at their enemies until we get that bow.
Whatever works, man. You get vampires, boom, silver and like a stake, good to go.
Yeah, I think that the Zelda creators should have put that into their logic.
That would have been fun. I don't know why, though. I want to correct myself there. I said silvers for vampires. Silvers for werewolves? I don't know what I'm talking about, clearly. So without the bow, Vidi is slightly harder, but with having the Butter Sword and Red Mail, Vidi ain't gonna be much of an issue.
Yeah, and they also have that half magic and the cape, so if they wanted to do that, they also have that option.
Yeah, Cape strat's best strats for Vidi, if you don't have silvers. I believe Vidi has the other item too, so this is gonna be interesting to see what he has. Yeah, that Butter Sword going through those eyeballs just like a hot knife and butter.
But
That was terrible. I apologize.
ooh, the book. I mean, listen, game. What are you doing?
We haven't had enough fetch quests in the seed, so now we need more. Give us all the fetch quests. The book there opens up both tablets, so that'll be fun.
All right, Akash is fluting away and is going to head on over to 4, where he will be warping into the Dark World and likely taking care of that one of those book check locations.
Yeah, absolutely. He's taking the breadcrumbs here with that book, and I don't blame him at all.
Yeah, at this point, the seed's pretty much screaming, check those book locations, but hopefully not screaming as a deterrent for the runners. All right, are we gonna find our go mode item here? What do you think, Zunker?
I'm gonna go with no. I think if it's gonna be on a tablet, it's gonna be on the Ether tablet. Just to troll us some more.
Ooh, big 20, and onward we go.
You know, I don't know why. I love the Bombos tablet animation because it kills that stupid bird. I love that.
It is really satisfying to get rid of those birds because they are obnoxious.
Yeah, absolutely. They just circle you like vultures. Well, I guess they are vultures.
Good programming, Nintendo. Good programming.
Simply the best.
We do have the big bomb now, so that is a location we're about to check. We have 2 more items coming from that.
Yeah, absolutely. So that could be the play. That definitely could be. That's a wise check at this point, and I don't think either runners check catfish either. All right, kind of getting into the psyche a little bit as a runner. At this point in the race, I bet both runners feel like they're a bit behind because they don't have the boat. And once they find it, if it's in a spot they could have accessed for a while, they definitely will feel a bit behind.
Chat is pointing out that Akash did take the long way around to get to the Pyramid Ferry, which held a 5-bomb upgrade and is to big 20. So we're running out of locations again.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's not forget they haven't. Chad's also pointed this out too. They have not done the Smithy Purple Chest Hammer Peg checks either.
All right, well, it looks like Akash is going to take care of those items that you were just talking about.
Yeah, it's understandable. Pod was a play there. I think maybe you could have done Catfish there. That might not be a bad idea to get that out of the way, but getting these done is not a bad idea before you head into pod. Tadaru finishing up his Vidi fight here with quite a bit. I don't remember exactly how many sword slashes, but it's a lot. But nonetheless, it's easy peasy. He'll be going into Desert next, most likely. Get that done as well. He has not done that yet.
Which is nice routing because you can take care of both those dungeons in kind of one fell swoop, and it's a nice way to take care of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And he'll end up getting his butter sword. I believe that was in the chest in Desert. Hammer Peg only having the heart piece. Heart container, I should say.
See what the smithies have, and then of course we have the lunchbox check.
Oh, they have the bow. They're bowsmiths today. That's huge. At 121, we are in go mode on Akash side. That's huge.
All right, well, Akash is racing his way toward Eastern Palace, where he's cleared everything, I believe, except for the Armos Knights, which will be a very quick fight for him.
Yeah, absolutely. That is huge to find those there. You do wonder, as I was mentioning before with the Psyche, not checking that earlier, in his mind, he may think he's a bit behind right now because he could have checked that a lot earlier. And if his opponent did, well, that opponent could very well have already be the GT at this point or getting close to it.
The nice thing is, neither of these runners had to touch T-Rock today, and a day that you do not have to go into T-Rock is a good day.
Yeah, absolutely. Didn't have to touch Turtle Rock, didn't have to touch Pod. Skull Woods, I think, basically ended up being required because you never got the Fire Rod, and you needed it for Ice Palace, but...
Interestingly enough, Tadaru in his bio did say that he wanted the bow more than anything, so this must be quite frustrating for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course he says that it's the last item that he receives. Alright. Akash is now onto his Armos Knife.
And handily disposing of the Armos Knights for his last crystal of this run.
Yes, absolutely. And you guys know what that means. It's time for the Big Key Guessing Game. Here on Speed Gaming, we have a game that we start with the bot. Where put your guesses into where the big key location is now, 1 to 22. If you have subbed or cheered 250 total bits to any of the Speed Gaming channels, you can get your name on the leaderboards. Do it now! Do it.
All right, Zunker, what's your guess?
12.
Going 14.
Going Bob's chest. By traditional routing standards.
Everyone likes a good Bob's chest, big key.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ooh, we got some rough customers in the chat. 22. We got a few ones. 17, 16, 19. We're kind of spanning the board here. We'll see what we get.
Yeah, absolutely. We're getting all the numbers taken care of, so more than likely somebody's gonna be getting right.
The nice thing for these runners is they are armed to the teeth. They have gold sword, they have butter sword, they have riot shield, they have red mail, they have silvers. Tadaru is going to be getting his bow before too long. This Ganon's Tower is going to be no issue for either of them.
No, absolutely not. He's doing it. Tadaru, speaking of which, is doing the bombos check, which Akash did as well. You hope he remembers the blacksmith stuff and doesn't go in the pod first, but I'll be curious to see what he does after this. All right, anyone got any last minute guesses in here? Go ahead and get them in. Here we go. Bo is on the smithies.
Oh no, I got a sinking feeling that Tadaru is going to go for T-Rock, although he's not going to get too far unless the Fire Rod pops up.
He might be checking the tablet as well.
Ah, you're right, that could be it as well. Alright, Akash Josh going right side first, see what we find. Got small keys in chests 1 and 2. He's opting to go ahead and do left side.
Yeah, you really... Oh. Alright, if you guessed number 3 on the torch... Well, number 3. You are a wiener. Congratulations.
A winner is you. So, Zelda Gaddison, and if I butcher your name, I apologize. You are the winner with the closest guess. I believe you guessed it right on the nose.
Nicely done, nicely done.
Or maybe not. Someone's saying he guessed 7. I forget what his guess was.
Well, if you guys weren't so trolly with your guesses, 22-19. Maybe someone could have got closer. Someone was nice and said 3 or 2. You would have got it. Anyway, so yeah, congratulations, Zelda Gassian.
All right, well, Tadaru is doing the smithy side quest here, which is going to get him his bow, as Akash is doing a really nice job at clearing out that first room of the gauntlet.
Yeah, absolutely. Akash has a sizable lead here, but we don't call this the gauntlet for nothing. It is definitely difficult, and GT in general just is not overly easy. Even, having the red mail and butter sword makes it a lot easier. But as you can see, he's getting heck to no end by these BMOs. He's already down to 3.5 hearts.
I don't believe he has anything in those pots. I know he has a bee in a bottle, that I do remember, but I don't know if he has anything else in those pots for health. But he does have the powder, which he could take use of in the next room.
Yeah. I think he may have had red goo. Oh, I just saw it. Yeah, he did have some red goo. Or ragu.
Ooh, almost getting all 3 land mollusts in one go there. But very, very quickly taking care of land mollusts too.
Yeah, it was a super easy fight there. I think Tadaru isn't entirely sure he's in go mode.
Yeah, he took a moment to pause there. Part of me wonders if he was taking a look at the Speed Race TV screen to see if maybe he was so far behind that Akash had already done.
Possible. I just hope I hope that's the case and not something where along the lines of he thinks he still needs Fire Rod.
You're right. He did do a check there that he didn't need to do. So maybe he's realizing now that he is indeed in go mode.
And to be fair, it isn't very often that Fire Rod is not required, but we do have that seed. And now Akash is doing a fun room without the fire rod.
Taking care of it, no problem.
Yep, no problem whatsoever. And you know at this point, Akash is not going to be checking any kind of any chest because there's literally nothing he could find that would make his life easier at this point. He may lie on me. What can I say?
Well, and, you know, the mushroom could be useful in so many ways.
The only thing, he could be looking for more hearts, possibly. He did skip quite a few. He won't have as many as Tadaru does at this point. Oh! Moldorm knocking him down.
Yeah, Moldorm 2 is avenging his fallen brethren from Moldorm 1.
And he gets Moldorm down the second time without much of an issue. The final chest just has some arrow upgrades, always important at this point in the match. Tadaru is about to finish up his last dungeon.
You never know, you may need 16 silver arrows to take out Ganon. Maybe you just feel super plucky today.
It's true. Maybe your aim's a little off. You never know. Akash making his way up to the Agatu fight here. Oh, just misses the double.
Yeah, Aghanim 2, also known as Trigonometry.
Pretty close. I believe he got triple, by the way, earlier, so I think he's up to 5. Unless I didn't count one, but... Triga Aga. Yep, he takes him down easily, and we're on to the big pig, and who shouldn't be too much an issue, all things considered, with the butter, silvers, red mail, riot shield, even though that don't really matter in this fight. He's got everything. We're good to go.
Tadaru's taking on his last crystal dungeon boss, which is the Armos Knights. You blink and miss it, and got the big 20, and he too will be headed up to Ganon's tower.
Yep, absolutely. Akash is just, as long as he doesn't fall a bunch of times here, should be coming away with this victory. Just got to get through Ganon.
Ooh, you put it out into the universe. That could be a commentator's curse.
I feel bad for that one.
Already on phase 3, so we are running very quickly through this Ganon fight for Akash.
Yeah, absolutely. Butter Sword makes those first 2 phases so much simpler.
And we are on to phase 4, and of course, we did find those silver arrows. So 4 silver arrow shots will put Akash into a victory.
Ooh. Missed a silver arrow and took a bit of a gamble there when we're trying to light those torches up. But he gets a nice double. Woo! Made that one a little too close for comfort, but he gets them down super easy.
Get your GGs in chat for Akash as he crosses the threshold, and we'll be giving you his speed racing time in just a moment.
Yep, GG to Akash. And we have an official SRTV time for Akash at 1:34:01. Solid race. Very nicely done.
And we are going to pull in Akash for an interview, and so we'll be hearing from him momentarily. All right, well, while we wait for the interview to get set up with Akash, when he's just joining us, we do have Tadaru starting Ganon's Tower. GG, Akash. Josh.
Thanks. Oh my god. I think it's like a conservative estimate that if I didn't do all those insanely dumb execution errors, that I would be sub 30. Or 130 rather.
Sub half hour. That'd be a heck of a seed there. Actually, speaking of the seed, what do you think of this seed?
It's I don't like it was a jet seed, but it like told you every way possible that it wasn't. I don't know. I mean, I won, so I like it, you know.
That's always a fair assessment. If you win, you always like the seed.
Yeah. And I was thinking, when I picked up the bow from the blacksmith, I actually said out loud, "This is so insanely bad for me," because like that's a thing that people just do because they feel like it. And I don't know, like I could have done it. I could have done blacksmiths before ice, swamp, and mire, and then I also went and did the tablets. That's like, I guess that means I go and clear out Eastern Palace, but then I do exactly the same thing after that. It's not really that long.
Yeah.
Like,
We were wondering that as you picked up the bow, you know, were you thinking, I must be so far behind at this point because this is a check you could have made earlier, but Tadaru made the check even later than you did, so they both kind of put you on even footing there.
yeah. Yeah, that's the kind of location that's just like, well, we got the mitts relatively late, so that was, that made me feel a lot better about it. But like, it's just still a thing that people just do. There's no way to really tell if your opponent would not have done it or would have done it, and so you have to kind of assume that they would have.
Yeah, definitely, I understand that sentiment. Now, you mentioned a couple execution errors. What execution errors were you talking about?
Mini Moldarm Cave, mostly.
Oh yeah, you died twice there, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. I decided I wanted to be inside the mold arms instead of having my sword inside, and that was a mistake. I probably should have taken sword lessons. That's probably like 101. Pointy end goes into the enemy, not the enemy inside of you.
You just want to become one with the mold arms.
I mean, that's true. That would make the game a lot easier. Like look at those guys. They have so many kills.
That is very true.
Yeah, other than that, off the top of my head, I don't know exactly. There wasn't anything really big other than that. I don't really think of, but like, I just don't think I was playing at my best today.
I understand that. Overall, it looked like you played pretty well outside of that, so you definitely had a good seed going for you. You played well overall. You're 2-1 now. How do you feel going forward in the tournament?
I don't know. For some reason, this makes me so much more nervous than anything else. Like, I've been in the finals of Magic tournaments and like not sweat. Like, I don't know what it is about this. It's like the fact that it's like for honor, I guess. I just care about it more. So I'm nervous, but I don't know, I feel good about my skill level. 7's a lot of rounds, though. Anything can happen.
Yeah, absolutely. We still got 4 more weeks of the Swiss rounds, before we even get to the bracket at this point. Tadaru here is making his way up to Ganon's Tower, got through the gauntlet, going to the torch room here.
Well, Akash, you always know that I always ask the question, something you learned this seed, but you've been playing Link's Class Randomizer for quite some time. You're pretty skilled at this game. So is there anything that I know you obviously said you regret the mini Moldarm Cave at the beginning. Is there anything that you regret, like the sequencing that you did, or something that you would sort of change your sequencing next time if it was sort of a similar situation?
Yeah, the moment that I was picking up the rock to go into the portal for Ice Palace, I realized that I actually had swamp access much earlier, and in my head that wasn't true, but I realized it at that point, and I think I should have gone to swamp. It's hard to be objective after the fact, knowing that Quake was there. Yeah, so going into ice first, I guess.
That's fair, but on that same token, if you can go mode swamp, that's a heck of a lot quicker than actually going through it.
Yeah, so is ice. A part of the reason that I went towards ice was also the fact that there's a lot of ways that the dungeon can be laid out where you can do the bomb jump and then transition from like if I got Quake in there, I would have just skipped. If there was one item left, I would have just skipped it and gone straight to the boss. If it was if I could just move into the NMG route. So that's one of the reasons, plus the fact that there was it was a 5/6 crystal, which was kind of not so much a reason, but it was just a little bit because I was looking for access to Meyer, so it kind of cuts off the I was just hoping that Bo was there, I guess is what I'm saying. But I still think I should have gone to Swamp.
I understand that. I definitely completely understand where you're going with that. Tadaru had some issues with the other torch room and the gauntlet with the lamp, and most people are used to that with the fire rod, so it's definitely tricky when you don't have the fire rod.
Yeah, I've actually only done lamp strats in the tower once in a non-entrance rando hell seed, where I gave up. I've done it once in a normal seed, and I had to learn these strats on the fly. And I was just like, maybe I remember. We'll see what happens.
That's fair. You don't do it that often, so it's hard to, you don't. I mean, fire rod's usually almost always required, but every now and then you get seed like this where you just don't ever see it.
Now, Akash, quick question. So you obviously were looking for, we're looking for the bow at the latter half of the game, and you go to Misery Mire, and I believe that's where we found the book. I mean, what goes through your head when you see, all right, well, now I'm going to string you out this way instead of giving you the bow in the dungeon?
Something I cannot say on commentary.
I appreciate that.
Completely understand that sentiment.
Yeah, I just don't want to do more stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, this seed kind of felt like it gave you a lot of fetch quests, and both you and Tadaru seemed like once you got a fetch quest, that was like the first place you ended up going, which can't blame you.
Yeah, it was. A lot of times I won't do that, but this seed, I don't know. It's hard for me to remember exactly what situations we were in when we got them, but I think I felt that I was being funneled, basically. So I wanted to get the items that could be progression immediately, follow up on things.
Tadaru now getting onto his Gan fight here, getting through the first two phases pretty quickly. Was there ever a thought to go in the pod?
Yes. After I went into the Pyramid Fairy, I did spin speed, started running towards pod, and I was like, no, this is just stupid. And then I didn't. It's interesting because it can be bow locked, and that's, I guess, a good thing to know because it cuts off 6 locations if pod is bow locked. So it's kind of like 6 for 1 in a sense. But it's just so long to go through the maze. And then it could just be not bow locked and hate life.
Yeah, that's very, very good points.
And despite the fact that obviously you're cut off from progressing further without the fire rod, was there ever any thought to checking the first chest in T-Rock?
I mean, there was a thought. If I lost, I might have just gone in and tried to hover for fun.
You did have a hover. You did try hovering earlier in the seed, and unfortunately, you didn't quite get it. But we did appreciate the effort.
Yeah, my wrists have been hurting today. It's kind of hard to, move at 60 miles per hour when your wrist hurts.
All right, well, Tadaru did finish his seed with an official speed racing time of 1:45.03. GG's to Tadaru for finishing the seed.
Yeah, absolutely. GG Tadaru. Congratulations to both runners for that matter.
Thank you.
We'll see if Tadaru wants to come in for a quick post-game interview as we kind of wind down our tournament coverage on Speed Gaming 4 until, I believe, the next match on this channel will be at 11 p.m.
Yes, we do. We have Illusion versus Gonspar, 11 p.m. here on Speed Gaming 4. And don't worry, we have plenty of randomizer coming up, so keep your eyes peeled to the Speed Gaming Link to the Past randomizer channels. There's never a shortage of randomizer. While we got a second here, once more, I just want to say GG to both runners on a heck of a seed. AGA 1 required seed are always a fun seed. Make sure everyone out there gives these two runners a follow. They both played pretty good, pretty great. A shout out to the tracker Megawatt once more time. Thank you very much, and shout out to my co-commentator, the Prof Gamer. You were amazing today. Thank you.
Sunker, a team is only as good as both members, and I really enjoyed running and
I'm doing commentary, not running. No, I'm not under that stress, but doing commentary with you today with these two amazing runners. So again, to echo the sentiments of Zunker, please do follow these runners. And Megawatt, thank you for the tracking as well. And we're going to get to Daru hopefully in here in just a second to do a post-game interview. But if you are interested at 8 o'clock at a Link to the Past Randomizer 2, that's the channel on Twitch. We have Sharky2107 versus Android 412. 8 o'clock as well, we have on Speed Gaming 2, Bite Size BK versus It's Supercar. And then we have a match at 9 o'clock on Link to the Past Randomizer 3. And we have a ton of matches, so we'll try to link the schedule here into the chat if you're interested. And let's see if we'll get to Daru here in just a second.
Where was the fourth bottle?
I don't remember seeing it. Although I think the only place that I can recall that Tadaru checked that you didn't was the Ether tablet, so it may have been there.
That makes sense. I almost went and checked it before going to GT, but I decided if it's Fire Rod and it's required, I'm going to have to mirror out of the left side anyways, so I'll just walk out then.
Yes, our tracker is telling us that there were 2 bottles in Swamp.
So you went left side.
Nah. That makes sense then. Yeah, I couldn't remember. I was trying to think. I forgot you didn't about the left side, and yeah.
That kind of gamble is so hard to tell whether it's good. I don't know. I think it's good, but I'm sure other people disagree with me. When you have one item left to just like leave the long stuff and go do other more high density things.
Yeah, it's an understandable gamble. It's why they call it a gamble.
All right, we do have Tadaru here in the chat. We're just going to work out a little bit of a tech issue and then hopefully get an interview with him. Akash, what was your Akash Josh? What was your feeling on getting the King of Samaria as your beginning item? Was that something that was was positive for you, or would you rather have seen something else?
It's okay since we got bombs. Otherwise, like farming for bombs is super slow with that, and it's like hard to justify not doing it because you just have so much extra magic. I would much rather have hammer, but like it's kind of greedy.
We also noticed you didn't do a lumberjack check early on. Is that something that is kind of a regular MO, or is that just something that you did to save a little bit of time today?
I don't check it until I get boots, basically, or if I have to do Aghanim anyways, I'll check it just to know if I'm going up to Death Mountain usually. Or actually, just anytime I'm walking up to Death Mountain from Sanctuary, I'll usually check it, but I won't like to wait till I have boots.
It's a little disappointed you held on to that bee in the bottle. I don't know that you ever ended up using him.
Yeah, I was freaking out later on, and I just didn't want to worry about doing meme things.
That's fair. That's very fair. Plus, you know, it was your pet, it was your friend, it was your companion through the rest of the siege.
I already have a companion. It's a cat, and she just yells at me all day.
The bee's not going to yell at you.
Yeah, but bees are terrifying.
I 100% agree with that.
I mean, fair point.
We're gonna give it a little bit here, a little bit longer with Tadaru. Don't worry, we'll still be filling the time up. But yeah, so this seed. Yeah, what do you think of the seed giving you all your upgrades, basically? Red mail, butter, silvers, mirror shield.
I mean, usually it doesn't matter, but I liked it for this one.
And they were so quick too. I think you had everything but silvers before even an hour in.
Yeah, butter was later, but that was in the desert. I don't. Where was? Temper was really quickly, right? Where was that?
Okay,
Hey, we have.
Oh, hey. GG.
Oh, the ultimate boss fight was Discord, apparently.
The true final boss of Zelda.
And look, here you are. A winner is you. A winner is you. You made it to Discord.
Excited. Well, I mean, I didn't win the, real race, but I'm still happy with how I performed. I'm still relatively new to this, and I mean, definitely will take a 145.
Yeah, absolutely. You definitely didn't play too badly. You know, for an Agassi, 144 definitely isn't too bad. I can't really pinpoint one thing that set you back a little bit, but you just got a little behind and weren't unfortunately able to catch up.
Well, I mean, I didn't see what my opponent was doing, but I mean, I just feel like maybe nerves got me and I made like a whole bunch of stupid little mistakes. Like when I revisited Eastern Palace, I went for the first chest. Stuff like that just happened all over the seed, like I was just fumbling all over.
Better or worse than dying twice to Mini Moldrum Cave?
Oh, I actually didn't die to Mini Moldorm Cave, actually. Did I?
I died twice in there. It was really bad.
That's, yeah, ouch.
We even had a sword.
Did you not check Kakariko?
No, I said we did have a sword.
Oh, we...
It should have been very easy, and I just kept walking into them.
I'm actually...
Go ahead, sorry.
I'm actually not used to doing it with the sword. Usually I'll use something else like the bow. Like, just those little gaps kind of make me nervous because I've accidentally walked out the front door one time too many.
Oh, absolutely. That is the absolute worst.
iffy bomb situation coming in there. Like, if I recall, I only had one bomb and I used it there, but I got bailed out, so I could have also checked Ice Rod Cave, thankfully.
True, and you also had Kansamari as well. I don't remember your magic situation, but you could have used that as well.
That's what I was, actually.
Oh yeah, that's right. You did use that. I forgot. Akash didn't use that. I don't know. Yeah, my mind's mush. Anyway, Tadaru. Overall, though, what do you think of the scene?
I thought it was, well, interesting in one way. It's the first time I've done Ganon's Tower without the fire rod, so another one of my fumbles was going to the right side. I just kept thinking, what part of this requires fire rod? But then there's that torch that's across the gap. And then later on near the top, when there's that, room with the 2 balls and the 4 torches, I never have done that without fire rod. So I panicked a bit, wondering how to do this. So I just had to improvise on the fly. I did figure out a way to actually do it with just the lamp.
Yeah, in over a year of playing randos, this is only the second time I've had to do that.
3 months, one time. For me, I guess, first time.
Well, it couldn't happen. Of course, it has to happen in your tournament race.
Yeah.
Where else?
But, I mean, it was a very generous seed in terms of equipment, like going to Ganon full-powered. Just nice in a lot of other ways, like the 2 treasures in Skull Woods being right at the front. You just know you can leave.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You guys got all that equipment pretty early too. You were a little behind on the equipment, but that was just based purely on your routing. Did you get a little once you got the bow? Were you a little? I won't say confused, but were you unsure about being in Go mode without the fire rod?
Mildly, I thought about it over a bit. That's why I just kind of checked the magic bat. And then I thought, well, I know that I'm probably not the best player, so I've got to take a gamble.
Yeah, that's definitely understandable, as we say. Not having fire rod seeds is unusual.
Weird. Well, I mean, Turtle Rock was a pendant. Skull Woods was a pendant. Both places you'd actually need the fire rod were, not required. So I figured, if I really do need it, maybe it'll be in Ganon's Tower. To check 3 chests, so I really don't know.
Yeah, I think you're not supposed to check extra things for it. If there's something on the way, just pick it up. But yeah, I don't think you should go out of the way to find fire rod in this type of seed.
I definitely don't feel like going out of the way either, but this was a new situation to me. I didn't know Go mode. And I might be in Go mode. I was confused by that.
It's completely understandable.
Yeah, I think I got the flute at 45, 50 minutes, and I stopped. Am I in Go mode? I didn't realize that I didn't have the bow for a second. I'm in Go mode. What? And then I was very sad when I saw that I didn't have the bow and that also Meyer was Quake.
Well, Tadaru, I have to say and I've also very rarely had to do fire, had to do lamp in that room in Ganon's Tower. You, to have that pressure and to kind of improvise, you did a very nice job of eventually getting through that room. It is a really tricky situation. So, and I saw you try a couple different solutions. So, nice job and really learning on the fly there.
Oh, thank you. I am just glad I was able to pull it off. Such tight execution, as I learned, and I was getting nervous when it was so low. I only had 4 hearts, and I was like, is this how it ends? Is this how it ends? But it was just such a sigh of relief when I actually did pull off that room.
Yeah, when I first had to do it, I almost died. I tried so many solutions that just didn't work.
Well, just now I know how to do it for the future.
I was actually afraid that I had forgotten. Then I did what I thought was right, and it was.
Any other final words from either of the runners here?
I mean, not particularly. I mean, luck in the rest of the tournament, Akash.
Yeah, you too. GG.
GG.
All right, well, I would suppose at this point it'd be a nice time to once again thank our runners, and please do follow them. They are fantastic. They put on quite a show for you this evening. I want to thank again Megawatt for tracking and my co-commentator Zucker to the rescue. And it has been a great night of Rando. There is still Rando ahead, so check out any of the Speed Gaming 1 through 6 channels, or a link to the past Randomizer 1, 2, 3, 4. And you'll see Randomizer every day, all day. And we hope to see you again. It has been a pleasure being a commentator of this fantastic match between these very talented runners. And I hope you all have a fantastic night.
Bye, everyone.